Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Love Your Life with Mama D. And of course, I'm Glenda Davis, aka Mama D. Today, I decided to do a video about the mistakes I made with gardening. Y'all know that I'm a newbie, just getting started. This is my first year, actually, the first time going in my backyard doing any kind of planning. So it was a big undertaking for me, and it started um, back in the spring when I had to kind of survey the land to see where it would be a good place to put a garden. And then after I decided where, then I had to start ordering dirt and getting my seeds and things together. And it was just an adventure. But I feel like my garden wasn't a total fail, but I haven't really harvested anything but a couple of little tomatoes. I think I have about 6 little tomatoes growing now. Um, I just I just had no produce. A few green beans, and um, I I think my oregano is going to be okay. My mint is going to be okay. Of course, those are herbs. They're just going to grow anyway. My lavender, got a little lavender. But other than that, it was pretty much a fail. Now, this is what I want to explain to you. I started out with a whole lot of excitement. I was excited because, I mean, it's like a time for everyone to take notice that we need to plant our own food. We need to grow our food. We really do. We need to make use of our land. If we have a house, a patio, any place that you can put soil and grow something, you really should take advantage and do it. So, with my yard being the size that it is, I felt I had some space, but my backyard is just full of trees. You all remember the video when I went back, and I'll show you again. Trees everywhere, just everywhere. So basically, I'm trying to garden in a shaded area. So next year, I'm going to do some research for next year. What are the best vegetables and herbs to grow in a shaded yard? Because most vegetables and flowers have to get, at least 6 hours of sunshine. And the way the yard is set, my house faces the south. The backyard, it's a golf course back there, but it's just lined with trees. There are trees everywhere, big oak, acorn trees, and walnut trees, and just in bushes and all that. And it made it very, very difficult for my garden to get any sunshine. So that's number one. The next thing, the problem, and I suggest that if you're going to start your seeds inside, that's a wonderful thing. That's a beautiful thing. If you want to start your seeds on the inside in the early spring, get a jump on it. But one, you have to know your zone. You have to know what zone you're in. You have to know about the frost. And most of the time they say plant after Mother's Day. And I did wait, but I planted green beans. I had Brussels sprouts, tomatoes, squash, onions, garlic. I had all this stuff growing, calla lilies. All this stuff was growing on the inside, and it took off. Everything germinated and just took off. The beans, it was just beautiful. And I was so excited. But my problem was that my outside, it wasn't ready. It only takes your vegetables about just a few weeks to come all the way up, and they're ready to go in the ground. But the problem was I had ordered my soil and compost, and I even bought my composters and everything. The compost takes about 4 months to compost so you can use your own. Now my compost is going to be ready for next year, okay? But it wasn't ready for this year, so I had to buy my own compost, okay? I ordered, I think, 2 loads of soil, um, organic soil. I also ordered my bed, my raised bed. I bought cinder blocks. Um, I got the little foldable. Um, I guess it's like a raised bed, but you just, I guess they call it just the bins. I had everything together. I really did. I bought all kinds of things, even lights and stuff to go in the backyard. I bought the mulch. I bought the black cow. I bought the compost starter. I got all this stuff, but I was too late. It was too late for my seeds. Those things that were growing, they started to get leggy and they just started to die out and they never made it. And the ones that I did take out, they were just too leggy to really take root good and to really grow. Okay. In addition to, they had so much shade that they couldn't, they couldn't germinate and everything. I didn't have any, there's no other flowers around. I'm just beginning to see the bees come around and pollinate, from the squash and my calla lilies, my gladiolas. I see them out there. The cushaw, they're in the blooms, but I don't have any produce. I have nothing. And I'm going to take you out and I'm going to show you. And it's September and I have pretty much nothing, nothing. Am I discouraged? No. Did the deer who came along and ate up all the, okay. And then also I ended up with, I think they call them cabbage worms, ate up my collard greens. I went out one day, they were fine. 2 days later, I went back out. They had little holes. Oh, they just devoured them. It just they left me just a little bit. And then I found out there's a rabbits. My neighbor told me about the rabbits that come and they eat stuff, and the deer was eating everything. And so one of my YouTube subscribers, she told me to get a net. Get a net. So next year, I'm going to cover everything with the net. That's going to be next year because it's too late for all that this year. But next year, I will use the net. So I want to say thank you to Georgia Peach Nut. Okay. Thank you for your advice. And by the way, I love watching your channel as well. Okay. Now, the next thing that I did wrong, I didn't fertilize enough. I think I used a black cow. I had a couple of fertilizers. I just don't think I fertilized enough. There were times it's been a hot summer. I think the ground got pretty hard several times. And then we had like a downpour rain for almost 3 or 4 days in a row. It was like overwatered. So I just had challenges. I had a lot of challenges. But the main thing is not to be discouraged. I'm going to graft out everything next year. I have everything kind of in my mind what I'm going to do. I am ready. So when I start my seeds in the house, I have a place now in the backyard to put them. My compost, I have extra soil, and I almost want to just go out there and just pull up everything that's out there and just start over for next year now. But I'm not. I'm just going to let everything just keep on growing, and I'll see what happens, because that cushaw plant, it is the cutest thing. It's starting to wrap around the bean and the pole. It's just growing everywhere. No cushaw nowhere in sight. My yellow squash have big old blooms this big. In the morning, they're huge. No squash. So I'm going to take you guys out and just let you see. But yeah, if you're new to gardening, just think about those things. If you're starting seeds, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. But just remember, start your seeds and have somewhere to put them, okay? If you have a shaded area, or maybe an area that's awfully sunny, maybe you might be getting too much sun, or you can have too much shade. You have to take those things into consideration. Also, grow what you need. I think I have about 10 tomato plants. Now, if all those tomatoes had, the plants had taken off and I had, tomatoes on all those, I would have had a problem. Guess what? Because I got one freezer. One small freezer. So if you're going to be growing a bunch of food, If I had greens galore, beans galore, tomatoes galore, cushaw galore, squash galore, where would I put it? Because I don't have that much room. And then, I did a video where a friend of mine gave me corn, sweet potatoes, and then she gave me more corn, cabbage, and I've had to, get that into the freezer. And then my regular meat stuff, okay? So there's not much room in my freezer. I wouldn't have had anywhere to put it anyway. So you have to think about, can you eat it? Do you know how to can? Do you know how to freeze? Do you have a hydrator? Do you have all this stuff? Because if you don't, you got to think about all those things. Because it's a lot to it. Man, I'm telling you, there's a lot to it. So I learned a lot and I'm excited. I am not discouraged and I will not be defeated. I will not. And if you guys who have been gardening for a long time, if you have any other tips, go ahead and put them in the comments. Like I tell you, I'm open to any and everything because I'm dog determined. I'm going to do this thing. Yes, I am. Come on, let's go outside. I just want to show you just a few things that's happening out there. You've seen my garden many times, but I just want to show you where I am. I'm not really interested in any kind of getting a harvest and all this. I'm okay. I really am okay. I'm fine. I have more food in my freezer where I almost can't shut it right now. So anything that comes out of the garden is just a bonus, and I will have to cook it like every day. There are some beans that I need to pick. There's a couple of some little cherry tomatoes, but they're still pretty green. They're not ready to pick. And the other stuff, I'm just going to leave it there and see what happens, okay? But I'll be ready for next year. Hey, listen, before I go outside, I just want to remind you, please like, subscribe, ring your notification bell so you'll get all my upcoming videos so that when next year comes and we start gardening, we're going to be on top of it. And I mean, if you know anyone who's thinking about gardening, share this video with them. Let them know that they're not alone. And anybody else who had, and I have heard, listen, here's another thing. I have heard some other YouTubers who've been growing, they got these big old farms. They got all this farmland. And the one guy said his sweet potatoes were coming up looking like turnips. There was all kind of caterpillars and these butterflies leaving these little eggs and stuff and just eating up stuff. I'm not the only one who lost collard greens. It's a bunch of folk out there this year had it rough because the heat has been ridiculous and just a little bit of rain. So those who have those big gardens, they had to wait on God to send the rains because unless they had a sprinkling system. So, okay. But anyway, let's go on outside and see what we got. All right. Okay. So the first thing I want to show you are the trees. This giant tree sits all the way across my house. Even though we had the trees cut back, trees, look, everywhere, nothing but trees. The corn, it's coming up. I'm sure there will not be any produce here. We're just gonna let it grow. It's okay, it looks kind of cute. Sunflower just got ate up. The greens, another pot ate up. These are, I'm getting them ready for next year. I had an old bench in the garage and I ordered these off of Temu, these little extra pots, so I'll have those. And then that back there is just the extra little corn. It's not going to do anything. And then my composter, I have 2 of those. So the potatoes are probably ready to go ahead and harvest because they're starting to turn, kind of old looking, and they just stretched out. They just start growing all over the place. But I think they're going to be ready. We'll probably pull those up in a day or so. The lettuce just died out. This right here is the oregano, and I'll go ahead and harvest some of that. This was Brussels sprout. It's not going to do anything. And that right there is, I think that's a cucumber. I think that's cucumber. or either a squash. Either way, it's, you know. I found this old ladder in the garage. I just painted it black and set it out here and put some pots on it. I thought it was cute. But here's the greens. These are the collards. They just got ate up, you know. They're gone. And my gladiolas, I'm getting a real pretty bloom here. This is my yellow squash. It's beautiful, but nothing's growing. Ginger's doing good. I will be able to harvest some ginger. This is my sweet potato. There's probably a potato or two in there. And then these are the beans. And here's a couple. You know, here I'll pull these off. I mean, blooms are everywhere with this cushaw, but there's no produce. Nothing really to harvest. It just keeps turning yellow, and I just love the way it has taken off and just growing up this little pole here, taking over the bean. It is so cute. But anyway, there's my tomatoes. Just a couple left, and nothing really to pick right now. There's one there, one over there. But, you know, blooms. It bloomed, but it just didn't work because of all this shade. All this shade. And here's the sun, and it is approximately 5 o'clock, and there's the sun going down now behind the trees. So yeah, I'm okay though. I'm okay. It was a learning experience. I had a lot of fun, and there's always next year if the Lord shall tarry. So listen, it's your life. You love it. You take the bitter with the sweet and learn from every experience. Listen, it's your life. Love it and make the best of it. And until next time, I'll see you. Love you guys. Bye-bye.